Welcome to our live streamed mindful practice. Before we start, I'd like to invite you to join our mindfulness series online course, where you can find additional resources, helpful tips, and supportive community forum. And of course, every session that we stream will be uploading within the course so that you can practice that in your own time whenever you need to. So let's get into this. Tonight we're going to be looking at a mindful practice where we're going to notice our stress in our bodies, and we're going to experiment with some imagery to try and relieve that stress. Thank you for joining me. I'm Sarah Haskett, and this is Mindful Monday. Taking a comfortable position and closing your eyes or resting your stare somewhere where your eyes feel comfortable. We're going to draw our attention to how our body feels. Notice first the in-breath, using the breath as an anchor. Draw your attention to how your body feels as you breathe in, and how your body changes as you breathe out. Noticing the movement, noticing the sensation of air flowing through your body, in your nostrils, into your chest as your stomach expands. Maybe your shoulders lift slightly, and exhaling as you expel the breath out into the environment around you. Take some time to notice the changes in your body as you breathe. Taking that breath in and taking the breath out. We're not wanting to control the breath. Breathe at the speed and depth that you want. We're just taking notice. And now expanding your awareness. I'd like you to notice how your head feels. Just notice any tension moving down the body to your neck and shoulders. Taking stock of how your body feels right now. Moving further down to your stomach, and your bum and the tops of your legs. And to your lower legs and your feet. And as you've noticed how your body sits today, we're going to take some time to acknowledge where our stress sits within our body. Where does that stress fit for you? It might sit in your shoulders. It might sit in the temples of your head. It might sit in your belly. Or maybe it's in your legs. If you've been stood up for a long time, you might feel the stress and strain in your feet. Take notice where your body is feeling the strain. And as you notice that stress in your body, I'd like us to consider if that stress has some kind of weight to it. We're going to try and mould that stress, make it into something tangible. Noticing the weight of that stress. Perhaps it has a shape. Taking a moment to visualize how that stress feels and fits within your body. Perhaps it has a colour. Perhaps it has a texture. Maybe it's shiny, or maybe it's gritty. Allow your mind to create an image, a sensation, a feel of how we notice that stress. And you might find that some thoughts come into your mind about that stress or the things that implicate it. And if those thoughts do come up, acknowledge them and allow your attention to move back to your body, using the breath as an anchor if you need to, drawing your attention to the in-breath and the out-breath, and noticing how your body changes and moves as the sensation of the air coming into your body and leaving your body. And then drawing your attention back to those stresses and strains, drawing into your mind, building that image, making this stress something that you can see and sense, that has a colour. It might be a dark colour, or it might be a bright colour. It might be something soft or something very bold. Notice the weight and how that sits. Notice the shape. And notice the texture. And now, as we notice, I'd like to try something. I'd like us to try and change this stress to make it more palatable. First of all, we're going to see if we can change the colour. Can we make this colour seem more reasonable in our mind? Something that we can focus on that's more palatable, more comfortable. You might find there's some resistance, and that's okay. Using the breath as an anchor, taking a deep breath in and a breath out. Noticing that stress in your body and perhaps changing that colour, or maybe moving it to another part of the body. If that stress is in your stomach, you might be able to move it up, and that might feel different there. Or if the stress is in your shoulders, you might be able to shift that to somewhere else in your body, or maybe you can bring it outside of your body and look at it in front of you. And can you change the shape? If it's a hard shape, maybe you can make it softer. If it's a spiky shape, perhaps you can mould the edges and make it more round. Or perhaps it can become more liquid and fluid. Perhaps it's going to break into pieces. We're just going to play with this imagery, changing it and moulding it. Moving it from your parts of your body, perhaps outside of your body. Perhaps you can play with moving it around. Maybe the weight of it has changed now. Perhaps it feels lighter. Remembering to use the breath as an anchor whenever you get lost or find it hard to concentrate. Drawing that breath in and drawing the breath out. Noticing how the body changes. Noticing how your body shifts and moves with each breath. Coming back to the visualization. Moulding that shape and changing its weight and its texture and moving it. Noticing where it feels slightly easier. Noticing how you prefer it. Sometimes there's resistance, and that's okay. Going to leave you now A moment of silence, drawing your attention to this imagery, allowing your mind to change and mould that stress into something more palatable, more manageable, a little easier. Remembering to come back to the breath if you need to, using the breath as your anchor. Bring your awareness back to your body. And perhaps the breath can influence the imagery. Perhaps on the in-breath, the image can mould, and on the out-breath, it may change different again. It's all right if it doesn't, and it's okay if it does. Just taking this moment is yours. This is your time. This is your strength. You have control. And you have the power. And as you draw your breath in now, thinking about those places in your body where you felt that tension, check in again now. Perhaps you can slightly adjust your body and relax those pieces of tension. And perhaps now that stress has changed and moved and moulded and mellowed. And the muscles can relax and the body can soothe. And taking a final breath now, we're going to prepare ourselves to come back into the room. Breathing in and breathing out. And lifting your head, take notice of what's around you. What can you hear? What can you see? Bringing your awareness now back to this moment where we are right now. And this is where we're going to end our mindfulness session today. Thank you for joining me.